Kevin
We're
McCullough.
back. Kevin McCullough, glad to have you with us. It's Times Square, where we come from, and Fred Fleitz is back with us from the America First Policy Institute. No, they didn't disappear. They're still around. They're still fighting the good fight. There's lots of stuff to be done. And Fred, I don't think a lot of people know just how influential a lot of you guys were in terms of those executive orders, the hundreds of them that were ready to go on day one. I know that a lot of the elbow grease came from AFPI.
Well, there were many good people in the MAGA world that did a lot to get ready. We played a significant role, and we're just proud of serving our country. We did it silently. I'm not going to get into exactly what I was working on, but we were part of the effort. But it was a team effort of many good organizations.
Well, and I'm glad that you were there, and I'm glad that there was that much forethought. I think one of the things that I think irritates people about companies or organizations is if they lack strong leadership, then you generally lack mission. Like, what are you supposed to accomplish if you don't know why you're there? And I think that the one thing that Trump can be identified with is that he defines his mission, he knows his mission, he knows what he wants to get done, and he wants people on the team that are going to help him get it done. And the entire effort, even during the transition of, the appointments and who he brought in and exactly when the executive orders were going to be released and so forth, like it's obvious that this government is doing things on purpose. They're not waiting for things to happen and react. They're initiating what they want to see happen. And I think that's healthy for the world.
They're well-written executive orders. They've been worked on. Some of them worked on for over a year. They've been reviewed by attorneys. And I think they're going to withstand the many legal challenges that we know are coming against these orders. And it's a way to basically fight the Democrats at their own game. They do this all the time with Democratic presidents. And Joe Biden thought he was so smart by signing a couple dozen executive orders when he came into office to reverse things that President Trump did. Well, we are going far beyond that. And Trump is signing executive orders on every area of U.S. society, U.S. policy. One reason he's doing this is because it's so hard to get legislation through the U.S. Congress. Another reason is these things are urgent. That's why so many executive orders concern the southern border. I'm sure legislation will pass to fix the southern border someday, but with such a narrow majority in the House, we can't wait for that.
Got to get it done. Let's stay on the southern border for a second. Gulf of America. Hillary Clinton nearly fell out of her chair at the inauguration. I actually look at the shoreline, and if you measure the tip of Texas all the way to the tip of Florida, we have like 2 to 1 the number of miles of shoreline that Mexico has on that Gulf. What's the psychology there? What's he aiming at? What's he trying to establish?
He's trying to promote American global leadership. And at the end of the day, as head of the executive branch, the president has the say over geographic names. He's asserting control over our government. There are boards within government, the CIA is involved, the State Department's involved, the Commerce Department's involved, but they all answer to Trump. And if the president wants to do this, it gets done.
Greenland and Canada and the Panama Canal at the Center for Security. How important is global transportation? I've been told by military experts that the Arctic is very strategic in terms of what we want to see in terms of protecting our country 30, 50 years from now. And Russia and China, I'm told, already have large plans to divvy it up and try to make hay with it. Are we late to the game, or is Donald Trump, pulling the Yoda Jedi mind thing with everybody and taking the upper hand here?
We are late to the game. We don't have enough icebreakers. If a Northwest Passage above northern Canada actually turns out, if global warming continues, which I'm not sure we know that's going to be the case, there could be a new trade route that would go from Europe across northern Canada through the Bering Strait. But a bigger issue is the status of Greenland long term. Greenland has enormous mineral wealth, energy wealth. It only has 50,000 residents. Those residents could one day choose to align the country unfriendly with the United States. There's no reason for that. Those 50,000 people could be very wealthy. They could be given opportunities as U.S. citizens in some type of an affiliation with the United States to have much better lives than they'll ever have with Denmark. I think Trump will make them an offer they can't refuse.
I've seen the math. if we offer each citizen $1 million, we spend less than we've spent in Ukraine, and and we get Greenland. Like,
Wow.
how could that be bad?
I think that's right. And I mean, obviously, Denmark is angry because they've had control of Greenland for hundreds of years. Well, that's not a reason they should hold this giant island that is part of North America and has such enormous strategic importance for the United States.
Yeah, well, I've known too many Danes. They get mad for a while, then they go back to being stoic for long term. So I think we'd survive that. Anyway, Fred Fleitz, thank you for all the hard work, and thanks for stopping by to
Stick
see
around
us.
for more of That Kevin. Next, That Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.